Hi everyone, this is Joanne Fink for Sakura, and I'd like to share how to do Zenspirations dangle designs with you. We're going to do a card project so that you can give a dangle card to somebody that you love. So let's get started. Today, I'm going to be doing the card the actual size because I want to send it to somebody. I'm picking up my all-time favorite tool, which is Sakura's Pigma Micron. I use the 01 because it has a real fine line that I like. And to do a dangle design, you start by drawing a rod. Rods can be curved or straight. I'm doing curved rods in this design, but I might do a few straight rods too. So I'm starting by putting some strings, and I'll attach a dangle. Dangling should be fun. And if I feel that I want a little bit of space, I might add another rod going across. I don't want my dangles to be at the same height if possible. I'll bring that one down a little bit more. I either want it lower or I want it higher, but I do want them different. I like to connect dangles together with these little cuffs. And if I leave the cuffs open, rather than putting pattern in them the way I did over here, then I can add color. I want to leave room in here for the text, which means I'm going to do some more dangling on this side. I always like to start with one long dangle that kind of grounds the side. And I want to share a technique that I've been working on that I think you'll really enjoy, which I call the vine technique. This is the vine technique, where you're taking a straight line or straight lines and wrapping a vine around it, and then what I like to do to make it interesting is add weight. This is another example of the vine technique. You can see here that I've done loops that are very close together, and here I've done them more spread apart. So I have to have one long, thin line, and all I do is go looping around my long, thin line. So that looks pretty good for a basic vine. And I'm double stroking my vine, and then I will add weight. And it's amazing how beautiful this actually looks when it's done. And I'm so excited because Sakura recently introduced fine moonlights. I would not have been able to do this before, but now that they have a fine, I can just color in this tiny little area. I can even color on top because moonlights are opaque. I think that looks really nice. I like the moonlight orange. It is incredibly bright. And now I can go back to embellishing my dangles and adding more. I always like to work in odd numbers, so I now have 3 hearts over here, and I think that that's probably a good number of hearts. But you can do lots of different things. You can do little diamonds. You can even do a star. Sometimes I do little loops that are almost like vines. Now I think I will go back to working on this part of the design. So I'm going to add a bigger heart over here, and I'm going to add my biggest heart down here. I like to add weight on the edges of my designs so that they have kind of a finished feeling. And when I come over here, I want to make this a checkerboard. I started this dangle technique because it was my way of drawing music. This part is the staff, and all the little pins that I put are representing musical notes. A topper is anything that goes above the line. And toppers can look like dangles, they could look like flowers, but anything that's on top of the highest rod are called toppers. You can learn all about them if you get my new Zenspirations Dangle Designs workbook. and it has examples of different things that you can dangle. And then at the back there are pages so that you can practice dangling all the things that I show you in the book. So I want this line up here to have more weight to it. So this is the 01 line, and this is the 05 line. If I want a really heavy line, I use an 08. So if I want this to be a little bit of a heavier line, I've now switched to the 05. I'm switching back to the 01. That topper looks a little bit lonely, so we need to add a little bit of visual interest. This is going to be a birthday card for my mom. And since my mom loves calligraphy, and I love to do calligraphy, I'm going to write Happy Birthday Mom using my Pigma calligrapher. Now that I'm looking at my design, I think it would be nice if the text for Happy Birthday actually followed along the curved lines of the rod. And the reason that I wanted to do the text now is so I can see where I'm going to finish my dangles. So now I want to do Mom. I really like the size and weight of the Pigma calligrapher 3mm, and I want something pretty dense here because this is the focal point of the design. I want the word Mom to stand out, and so I can actually double stroke parts of the letters so that it becomes really dominant. For now, that gives me my placement. I'm going to do one more heart because I love my mom. Sometimes I like to embellish the strings by putting little dots on them. And here I'm starting to splay out. And because I had a diamond before, I think I'll add another diamond and maybe add some of the dots that I like. And now it's just a matter of what I'm going to fill in between. So I've just filled this whole area in with nice little dangles, and I've started to add some dimension by taking them above and below the line. And I'm going to continue that, creating spaces that I'll be able to color in a few minutes. And sometimes I like to weave them, and I think that will give some flow through the design. And I can't resist adding a little piece of the vine feeling over here. And this vine is not attached at the top, but wraps around one of the dangles at the bottom. I'm using the metallic jelly roll in gold, and because the metallic is opaque, it covers up any lines that were made by operator error. So let me add some weight now. Adding weight really makes the design sing, and so I often go back and do these extra little touches that will make my design special. And what I like to do with all the colors that I use is kind of get an even progression. So if I have gold up here, I feel that I'm going to want to have touches of gold throughout the rest of the design. I usually will put at least 3 spots of color with one pen on each side before moving on to another. But at first, I just build in touches. And in the same way that I don't want the dangles to be at the exact same height, I don't want the yellow to be at the exact same height or any of the colors, so I stagger it throughout the design. It's okay to leave some of the dangles empty too. Pink is a favorite color in my family, and I feel like I want a pretty large piece of pink to balance the pink at the bottom, so I'm going to put pink in here. I feel like I really want to add touches of glitter. I really like the contrast of the glitter with the matte. Now I'm ready to make the word Mom look really special. So I've added dots on the black part of the Mom, and now I'm adding some decorative accents outside. And I'm taking the Pigma calligrapher in a 2mm this time and adding a flourish. It's nice that the ink in the Pigma calligrapher is the same as the ink in the Pigma Micron, because that way I can touch up something that I've done with the Pigma calligrapher using a Micron, and it matches. I think that my card is looking pretty good. I hope my mom will love it, and I hope that you will love designing your own greeting card with Zenspirations Dangle Designs. Happy lettering!